Number 53 in the VSA range is Igor and the Lunatics. Now, this was one of those ones that I picked up because I pretty much pick up all the VSA titles, but I heard some really not good information about this. People were saying it's not the best. There was 2 cuts on the disc, which I take as a good sign because you get the original release, which is 79 minutes, and you get the extended bloodshed cut, which runs a rough 10-12 minutes more. Now, I went for the original release because I heard that this was the one that's kind of best epitomises the film and what they were going for. And I've got to say, for a movie that was kind of highlighted as something that might not be great, it turned out to be something I rather enjoyed.
Paul! Paul! How could you use those dirty machines? They do such messy work! I could have cut her! I could have cut her so clean!
You get a Charles Manson-style cult who terrorised Tromaville in the 70s, led by Brutal Paul and his obsessive, high-pitched, razor-wielding sidekick, Igor, who get jailed at the start because they're doing some pretty horrific things. 16 years later, they get released and go back to their old murderous ways. And it's up to a character who has moved away from that life, who was part of it at the time, who has rehabilitated himself to become someone who lives within the public eye and does good, to think that he has to deal with the situation, get revenge, go back to the old haunting grounds and deal with the travesties that are happening yet again. It is a kind of cult horror meets backwoods slasher, drifting free love placements lead directly to knife-wielding terror. It's a kind of cult horror meets backwoods slasher. It tries to throw all these different things into the mix, and it is, for the most part, kind of entertaining. It is incredibly silly, and the performances are really inconsistent throughout the film. Some of them can be kind of fun, some of them can be kind of campy, some of them can be outright awful, but sometimes that adds to the film itself as well. There is this psychedelic nihilism to it because it has this kind of Manson family fantasy and happy nightmare mixed together, and a soundtrack to match that along the way. It creates this world of free love, of the hippie movement, and really skews it, twisting it into something far crazier, creating the cult ideology that comes through at the beginning of the film.
Sin from her flesh and the corruption from her soul.
This was a Troma film that is regarded as not one of their best, one of the bottom of their rung of films. It had extensive reshoots to add more gore and blood into it. Now, I haven't watched the longer edition as yet, I've only watched the shorter one, and I've got to say what I got was pretty fun. Becomes a little bit muddled near the end. It tries to get a little bit too convoluted in certain moments, but for the most part, it's really kind of just one of those films where you watch and I kind of know I'm going to forget about it. And I didn't have a bad time while I watched it. It was really kind of fun. This is from a 16mm camera negative, which is completely remastered. It's got some sharp detail and it's got the intact grain, which is something that we always love. It's got a good colour palette as well. Deep forest greens, bright blue costumes, bold blood, you know, the kind that's really icky and silly, but you kind of know is really fake. But the colour pops on screen. The audio is kind of raw. There's a subtle hiss in the background that didn't really distract from the film, but wasn't as sharp or as clear as I had hoped for. There is some good extras on the disc as well, including a 34-minute doc featuring new cast interviews and delving into the film's genesis. I would love to know what you made of Igor and the Lunatics. Were you, like me, pleasantly surprised with what you got here? I was expecting something far worse and found it to be, well, you know, it killed some time and I had fun during it, mostly. Let me know your thoughts on Igor and the Lunatics. I would love to know. So drop a comment in the comment box below. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box are links to Patreon, membership program, ManVFilm.com always, in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.